The earthquakes in 2011 had a devastating impact on the people of Oxford Terrace. I think a lot of the identity of the congregation was connected strongly to the building itself, but particularly for people who had experienced lots of life's milestones here, the birth of children, the weddings and the funerals.
We went through a process of lament first, and that was about a year, and mourned the loss of what had been. And that was a really important season before we started thinking about what could be. That was followed by a 2-year exercise of looking at our why, our vision and mission. Who are we and why are we?
So involving the congregation, we looked at who we were, what we had, where we'd come from, and where we could go to from there.
After that led to a discussion about what buildings would support the vision of the church. We wanted spaces where people could worship, spaces where people could gather and fellowship, spaces where people could reflect, meet.
It was important to us to include housing in this redevelopment, as housing is an issue throughout Aotearoa New Zealand. It was particularly so here in Christchurch following the earthquakes.
We spent a lot of time looking at who needs quality rental accommodation, and we landed on refugees, people with disabilities. We landed on elderly, students, young adults leaving home for the first time, and families. And so when we've built the 14 houses, we've designed houses to serve that.
So Pillars Cafe is such a vital part of the facilities here. It's a great connection with our neighbourhood. Some people, actually it's an extension of their home or their workplace lunchroom. Several neighbours come in every day.
That was really key, that we're not closed off to the public, but actually that this is a space that invites people in. One of the other big benefits of the cafe though is that it's become the meeting space for all of the organisations who work on site. We have over 100 staff that work on site, and the cafe is that hospitality space that allows the various NGOs staff to meet and bump into each other. We had 2 initial partners, World Vision and Workplace Support, who had also been displaced from the earthquakes. And they partnered with us in stage 1, where we built them offices and they signed up to long-term leases to have their staff here. That ended up becoming like a hub where other NGOs started working out of the cafe or arranging to have meetings here and started asking us, can we have our offices here? And so in our second stage and reorganisations of other buildings, we've now ended up with 11 different NGOs.
We loved the old church. But it was somewhat limited in our ability to use it during the week. It had a sloping floor and the pews were fixed. This new space, though, has ability to be quite multi-purpose. I personally love being able to see the city as we are in the space on a Sunday morning and worshipping God.
Now what it's really meant is that we have places where people can gather, worship, and where church life can happen, and the buildings are something that enhances and facilitates the mission of the church. So our partnership with Christian Savings would date back to 2016, when the first loan for the first stage of about $1 million was arranged to finish off the first building project. They were involved because as a church, our banks wouldn't lend to us and saw us as complicated and tricky. And so it's great to have Christian Savings as a partner who understood the church and our reason why, and we've got to know each other very well over the last decade.
I think on the whole, the church congregation is delighted with the church building and what we have been able to realise. Most of the delight, I think, comes from seeing the place absolutely buzzing.
Seeing children dedicated, seeing 17 baptisms this year in the new baptismal, seeing people who have fled overseas conflict environments find themselves in a country where they can vote for the first time in their lives, having children play together, having people say that this is the first time that they've lived in a warm house, having people find employment. those are the times where you remind yourself that it was worth it.